good? Okay. It's Lemonjuice McGee in the motherfucking house.
Oh, here we are. We're good. We're live right now.
Right
I
now.
wasn't on. I wasn't ready. I just throw us all in the garbage.
Dude,
What's going on, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Listen,
pretty good.
I'm sorry about the other day.
The other day, well, see, I'm sure people watching this are going to be like, what happened the other day?
Well, you came on the other day, and you told me how you got your name, Lemonjuice McGee.
It was like an hour and a half of maybe some of the best verbiage that has ever been put to a microphone, I think.
I agree. And I just wasted it.
Just gone.
Wasted. But you said, let's go over that for people that don't know. Because you said it was going to be an exclusive, so I still want them to have
It's
it.
exclusive. Okay. All right. So the question is how I got the name Lemonjuice McGee?
Yes.
Lemonjuice McGee. It came from an old drunk railroad man. It's simple as that. I used to run a crew where we painted track setting equipment and train cars and stuff. And thanks to 9/11, a lot more security on the railroad tracks. So naturally, whenever you're there, if you're not a railroad employee, they lack railroad employees watching you at all times. So we would do these things on the weekends. So for that, these guys who worked the railroad would be getting overtime. So that automatically went generally to the guys with like higher seniority. The older ones, usually the drunker ones, and they would just hang out and watch us work the whole weekend. And this one very inebriated railroad man was giving out hobo names one day to all of us. And I got Lemonjuice McGee. And I used it as an alias a couple of times, and it just stuck and has been with me till now.
When was that? How long ago was that?
Shoot. Like, say 2003, 2004. So it's been a while.
Almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. So not quite as long as my actual name, but close.
Yeah.
Close enough.
And then you told us about managing wrestling. You said that you do a lot of that, and you've worked with a lot of big stars and everything. And now, how did you get into that again?
That was the deal. I had a couple of wrestling podcasts where me and my buddies, we would talk about like one podcast was for current like televised professional wrestling, WWE, New Japan, Ring of Honor, things like that, where it was mostly just reviewing things we watched and just fantasy booking what should happen and all that usual shit you hear from all those guys. And then we had another one that was independent talent, which was all of the indie wrestling in like Kentucky, Tennessee, Ohio, Indiana, those areas. So we go interview guys, we go to shows, we report on them, and made a lot of friends through that to where eventually my buddy Loverboy Brock Landers, one half of the Heartbreakers, invited me to be his manager one night.
He was just like, "Hey, man, you come
sit
ringside
like,
with me."
It would be cool. Like, come out and be a manager. You should do that. It'd be fun. And I was like, "Yeah, it would be." And then there was that part of me that was like, "Man, I need to know what I'm doing." So it was a ways out from that night. So, me being oblivious to how any of this works, a local indie promotion was offering to train people for wrestling, and I was like, well, I guess I need to learn how to do it all if I'm going to do any of it, just in case.
Yeah.
So I go to wrestling training, in which case I had a rib broken in just mere hours.
That kind of happens when you go into like I did MMA before I ever joined the Marine Corps or anything, with a mentor of mine, Steve Koger. And he taught me how to fight and stuff. And like, there was this real big guy wrestled there. And, God, I wish I could remember his name. But anyways, he's huge. And he was like, okay, go fight him. Like, first time I'd ever, really fought outside of just getting in fights at high school or whatever. Yeah. And he broke my neck pretty much. It's just how it always goes,
Fantastic.
You just get thrown into the lion's den, and if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. I went back a few times just because I like going down there, hanging out, and punching the mats. But I mean, he could have took me to like UFC and stuff like that. I just didn't get into it, man. It just wasn't my cup of tea at the time.
Yeah.
I end up just signing the contract to Uncle Sam, saying, "Take me away."
And that worked out in its own way.
It was what it was. I got some more MMA training there. That's cool. And then you told us about, you said you'd worked with some big guys, so you're starting to get into the wrestling like real heavy then, right?
Yeah. I got to where I've been pretty lucky in the amount of time that I've done it. It's like 5 years being a wrestling manager, which primarily consists of me being linked up usually with guys who aren't the best on the microphone, and I get there, get their point across, do something Weasley, help them cheat, whatever, and just add to the mix.
Yeah.
Super fun, and I've been really lucky in the course of the years of doing it to be most of the time in the ring managing against a lot of big guys, because usually my guys like the heel who they're coming in to beat because they're the big name everybody comes to pay to see. But it's been fun. I've learned a lot from a lot of people. Tracy Smothers sadly recently passed away. I managed him a couple of matches back to back here at the Pulaski County Fair, and then in Irvine, Kentucky the next night. I wasn't supposed to, but I was at that show and he was there and he was just like, "Oh, you're here. Well, you're managing me again." And I was like, "Okay, awesome." But those two matches, I had learned more from him in those two matches on as far as controlling a crowd over more than I had in months and months and months of doing shows. And it got to where up until this last November, I was generally managing people usually up to 4 nights a week. Usually it was Thursday, Friday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Usually hitting the road, making towns, doing wrestling stuff.
Shit with
yeah. But then whenever we decided to open the Cavalcade, it was one of these things had to, and that was back in 2019. That was probably around June, July. We were really seriously getting into where we were going to put the store and everything. So from then until November, I kind of ramped down my appearances and stuff to get ready to transition into just running the store. Just because it was too much dividing myself up. Now that the store's open, we have really good staff. We kind of got things going. Just the past few weeks, man, it's just been coming back hot and heavy. But that's just I'm thankful for it. It's super fun. But I don't look at it as hey, I'm back in it. But it's definitely one of those I thought I was out. And they pulled me back in. But I'm trying to keep it measured a little bit.
So it's it's the show side, the Showtime side of the arena. It's that kind of what helped you develop your character as Lemonjuice McGee.
Oh, by far. I mean, that was the whole reason for all of that.
I kind of figured.
Yeah. It was very much. I mean, I used the Lemonjuice McGee name. I worked for MTV for several years writing about toys, and so I used the name there, and so I was able to just be sort of the Lemonjuice McGee full on character is basically this just. He's a moron. He just doesn't know he's a moron. He's very self-deprecating humor a lot of the times.
That's me on a daily basis.
And so it's one of those that I was able to do that in the writing, and then whenever, using it in the ring, especially it's just funnier. I would rather just be a funny, just goofy fucking moron than this serious I'm this badass evil guy who's got these and now granted I've had to do that on occasion, be this serious thing who has these guys when we go in and we just trounce people, because sometimes that's how it has to be, but for the most part I still try to cut a little bit of just stupidity in there as much as I can.
I mean, honestly though, isn't that kind of who you are? Don't you really just enjoy being goofy and fucking silly?
Yeah, and I mean a lot, so it works out. It's basically the same thing.
It's fucking, hey. I love it, dude. One thing I like most about it is, the first time I seen your Instagram page, because, we met at the Penny Roll podcast premiere.
Yeah,
we mentioned that, too, last time. Shout out to Nate.
Yep.
And Kyle. And Darren. And, you just, "Hey, man, I'm Jason. What's up? I'm the comic book store." It's "Hey, I'm Josh. You probably heard my redneck ass on the podcast." Yeah. Nobody could forget that. And then I look you up, and I start seeing all this, Lemonjuice McGee stuff connected to your Facebook page. And I'm like, what is this? And so I found your Instagram page, and I seen all your pictures. I was like, this is fucking rad. What is up with this guy? What's up with this character?
Yeah, there's a lot of me with very little coverage over my groin in a lot of those photos. Man. It's fine.
It's all right.
Instagram hasn't pulled them down.
Let it all fucking hang out.
You gotta get those likes. That's the way it goes.
The fat bottom girls are allowed to do it. You should be able to as well.
That's very true.
But one thing I love the most is the fucking suits. The suits are so goddamn elaborate. I love it. So your jacket tonight. It's fucking.
I have a very weird Amazon recommendation list when I get on there.
I'd say you do.
It's full of some oddball stuff.
Here's a Batman suit and a pumpkin tie.
Yeah, which I have both of those things. So.
That's another thing. What's that fucking Tom Hanks plays him on that Saturday Night Live skit?
Yeah, David Pumpkins. Yeah,
David Pumpkins. Yeah. You have the David Pumpkins suit.
Yeah,
I love the David Pumpkins, man. That's like one of my favorite Tom Hanks skits on SNL. Of course, they're real liberal side media now. It kind of seems like it controls every skit, but you know, dry comedy.
Some.
I think sometimes the politics gets inside entertainment too much, and that's really a problem for me because it really steers me away from like actually watching like, you know, produce shit from like AAA studios and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather sit and watch YouTube all day because the content's so original. You know what I mean? And it's kind of what I like about is like of course you've probably found out by now I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing about like the Star Wars community is like the fans are able to just cut loose and create so much. Like there's this guy on YouTube. It's called A Star Wars Theory is the channel. Mm-hmm. And he's a Canadian, and he created this like mini series, and it's called Vader. And like it came out right after The Force Awakens, I think, and it was like 10 times better than what Disney could have made. Mm-hmm. And it was just like this short 15 minutes, you know, and made by this one dude and a small budget, but he was such a fan of the content and like the story that, you know, made it all just so much better because everything connected better. Yeah. You know, and I'd rather watch shit like that any day than go pay, you know, $6, $7, $8 to watch something I don't want, or versus $60, you know, to pay for cable that I don't even watch nothing on.
It's true.
You know.
Yeah.
That's another thing I like about like Netflix and stuff is like a lot of their shit's like really good. Like you watch any Netflix?
I watch a lot of things.
Dude.
I have way too many streaming services currently, as it is.
Same. I think I got them all. What's that one movie, Mike? That one you had me and Brianna watch.
Debbie Does Dallas.
My Octopus Teacher. Yes.
It sounds about the same.
It's fucking awesome. This dude makes like this. He goes every day for a year making this connection, like this real friendly connection with this fucking octopus, and like starts studying them, and he films them like every day, and like the shark comes up and like bites its little limb off, and it goes into hiding in its den and like regenerates its health and grows its limb back perfectly and shit, and like finds out all these things about octopuses, like how they can like change their pigmentation of their skin and camouflage and stuff, and they can like make horns and stuff all over their body and everything, or make themselves smooth. He finds out all this interesting things, but what he really finds is like this deep, intimate connection with this octopus.
Does he fuck that octopus?
Probably. I was kind of thinking that.
That's
too.
where I thought this movie was going.
It's not tentacle hentai.
I mean, I'm gonna watch it now.
It's right there beside it.
It's really good, actually. It makes this really deep, meaning connection with this thing, and they become like almost family, and he's like with it his whole life. It's crazy.
It's good, man.
But it teaches him like so much about like life and how he should like appreciate it. It's really good. Just watch it.
And then there's another one. It's called The Devil Within. Have you seen that one? It's got Tom Holland in it.
Yep.
That's a fucking good.
That's a good movie.
Yeah, they got some good writers over there at Netflix.
The devil all the time.
Is that it? The Devil All the Time? Let me misquote everything. I'm a pro at that. And yeah, it's just, you know, I'd rather watch stuff like that than pay I'd rather pay $60 in streaming services and get everything I want versus $60.
Well, that's what they're betting on that you'll do. That's why there's so many streaming services now.
Oh yeah, but that's
the plan. It's all part of the plan.
That's also why I like YouTube though, is because like it's free unless you want to pay the premium, and you get like I watched this guy. His name's the Wooded Beardsman. He's Canadian, and what got me interested in him was when I was building this cabin. I was just looking at like cheap ways to build a cabin, like out of raw lumber and stuff, and that's what he was doing at the time. You know, subscribed to him and basically built my cabin at the same time he did. So got to share some good info, you know, and thoughts. And like that's why I like open creator content, kind of like, you know, and basically what you're doing with like your comic store is like, hey, come in and play my games, you know, read a couple comic books, maybe take one home with you. Like,
buy the comics and read them, yes.
There you go.
You don't read them in the store.
Well, everybody gets a flip through, right?
Yeah, you get a flip through.
I get it. It's not Ferris
They're
Bueller's Day. They're
only 28 pages. It's like you can.
True.
Yeah.
Is that most comic books? Like around 20, 30 pages?
Yeah, about 28 pages.
Yeah. I got one over there. It's called The Human Torch. It's really old. or it looks really old, but it's like dotted comics, like all the coloring is dotted, and it's I don't know, it seems old.
Well, the Human Torch series, I mean, the original Human Torch was he actually existed pre-Marvel Comics.
No shit.
And then Marvel, he was like pulled in with the Marvel stuff when they first launched. Captain America, same way. Like those were all previously owned by Timely Comics, and then Marvel bought them out, created Marvel as an umbrella, and then Stan Lee and Jack Kirby just started like pop. Here's everybody else.
So Stan Lee didn't come up with like the Fantastic Four and shit.
He came with the Fantastic Four.
Oh, just
but the Human Torch, different character. There's a Human Torch in the Fantastic Four. That's Johnny Storm. He's the second Human Torch. The first Human Torch from that book, he's an android. He's an android that's created as a hey, here's a boost to humanity. Here's this android. These guys are going to be able. This android is the first like AI construct in existence, and he's going to help bring humanity in the future. The problem is that whenever his body touched oxygen, boom, it went up in flame immediately. So anytime he's in oxygen, he's on fire. So he's the Human Torch, but he's actually an android.
Holy fuck, I didn't know that. So what's he do to not be on fire all the
time? He's got to be like in like a vacuum.
Really?
Yeah.
So space.
Yeah, or like a glass sealed,
room,
some comic gimmick that they do.
No oxygen room.
And he has a sidekick named Toro, who's like a smaller version of him that lights on fire. And it was him, Submariner, Cap, Bucky.
So
there's a couple others. They were all like the original like defenders. Basically, they were like hey, we're gonna go take on the Nazis in World War II.
So that's basically kind of what it was created for.
Yeah. And then once Marvel bought out Timely, they started doing stuff. Then, of course, they brought Captain America was in ice and was revived, and with the Avengers and Submariners, the first mutinies, doing all this stuff, and so there's a few of those characters they didn't create.
So you just, I guess that's kind of a thing. Like when you're into like sci-fi and comics a lot, is all that the back history.
Oh, I just absorb it all, kind of.
Was you always into it when you was younger?
Yeah, to a point. I mean, it was one of those like when I was real little. Of course, in Somerset, I mean, there was no like comic shops or anything like that initially, like when I was little. And so a lot of it, like Bookland was there, and they had a rack of books. But like that was when comics were, I think like $1 cover price. Now they're like $3.99 minimum. Mm-hmm. And of course, older books are like 25 cents, 50 cents, etc. And which is usually how you judge how old a book is. So like a 12-cent issue to like 10 cents Golden Age, 12 cent to like 15 cent is like Silver Age, and then it's Bronze and on up. So, like when I would get these older books, because my aunt would take me to yard sales, and of course people would have these boxes of old books. They'd have like they'd be 10 cents a piece, or a box for $5 or whatever. So I would get all these comics and just read through them voraciously of these characters I knew nothing about, because also it was one of the things I grew up mostly where we lived. I didn't have a lot of kids my age to hang out with. So like a lot of it was action figures and comics and me like just doing my own stuff. And when I went to school, of course I played with all the kids, but like at home, a lot of it was me building all my own stuff. So I would read these comics and see these characters. And like one of my first experiences is this issue of Uncanny X-Men, where it's from the early 80s, and the X-Men are, they go to the Hellfire Club because Jean Grey, it's whenever she's starting to become evil like the Dark Phoenix, and so the Hellfire Club get her to be their Black Queen. So the X-Men go in to bust her out. So they go into this mansion, and Wolverine, there's this guy, this big, huge, fat guy, and his power is basically he makes gravity just like expands upon it. Yeah. So he just puts it all onto Wolverine, and then it just shows Wolverine just getting blasted through all of these different levels of the mansion down to the sword, and you don't see him again, right? Damn. And then the rest of the X-Men are fighting the whole issue, and they're just getting their asses whipped. Well, one, this comic didn't have a cover on it. Like, it was just in this box, and I'm just reading it. I'm just like, this is so cool. And the very last page is just, it was just like burned into my brain, and it's just this guy, and he's out of the sewers, and he's got these 3 claws popped out of his hands, and he just says, okay, now it's my turn. And then that was the end of the issue. Oh. And it was just the coolest fucking thing that, like, I'd ever seen. That's fucking awesome. So, like, from then on, it was just like boom, 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 and I found out, like, this is Wolverine is who this is, and it just turns out that, like, even without knowing, he is just a badass. And so, a couple of years ago for Christmas, Delaney, my partner, she got me this framed print of that. Like, she tracked it down and got a framed print of that last page of that book.
No shit.
With him on it. Yeah, it's awesome. Dude, awesome present, man. Yeah, she's awesome. Great. Yeah.
Dude, I think I kind of had the same, like real similar thing happened to me because I was a farm boy. And, you know, I didn't have nobody around me either growing up, so it was basically just me and my imagination in the woods.
Yeah.
And the first like thing sci-fi I got into real big because when I was younger I was into like, you know, Toy Story, Woody and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and like the Disney thing, and then it was just straight up like bull riding. Like 8 Seconds was my favorite movie from the time I was like 4 years old till the time I think I was like 11.
Yeah.
It was like my world, like bull riding, rodeo, everything. I consumed it all. We had horses, so I rode horses pretty much every damn day. And just grew up like that. And then my first real like experience with sci-fi, because I never even watched it on TV. Like I would see like the cartoons, like kind of anime style cartoons and stuff on Cartoon Network and stuff. I never was into them. I just didn't get it, you know, or anything like that in general. And I watched, you know, Tom and Jerry, Looney Tunes, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then my dad takes me to this garage sale, and it's this old lady, and I'm like looking through all her stuff, just looking for toys and, you know, stuff. And I find this golden case of VHS tapes. And I'm like, that's weird. Why's that gold? And I pull it out, and there's this face on the side. And I'm like, Star Wars. What is Star Wars? Never heard of it, you know. Never really paid attention to it. And I was like, Dad, can I get this? It's $8. It was the Golden Collection, George Lucas, you know, remastered VHS tapes. And so he's like, yeah, you can get it. So I take it home, and I put A New Hope in. Because I didn't know the order of them then. I just seen where it said 4, 5, and 6 on the boxes. So I put A New Hope in, and it's the first time I'd ever really been introduced into sci-fi, and I watched a space opera for the first time in my life.
Hey man, episode 4 is how most people were introduced to space operas back in the 70s when it came out.
Bro,
that was the first one anybody got to see. Like that's what blew everybody's minds from the get-go. Like,
that's what I was born in 94, you know, so I wasn't born back in the 70s. I didn't, you know, I didn't get to see it then. But that's what really got me as a Star Wars fan later on in life is like, oh, I seen it the original way you should see it. I seen 4, 5, and 6 before I ever seen 1, 2, and 3, and I got to see 3 at the drive-in. You know, it was awesome. But it was the first time I'd ever been like engaged in a sci-fi fantasy show, and I was obsessed. Like I was playing as like Luke Skywalker out in the fields. I take a stick and, you know, use force powers and stuff. And I got so nerded out, like obsessed with it. I had like one of those little notebook journals, like one about that big, you know. And I wrote every single fucking piece of dialogue down from A New Hope in that thing, from beginning to end. From the boarding party at the very beginning, where Princess Leia gives R2 the disc, to the very end of the movie when they're, you know, putting the medal on Chewie. Yeah. Like, every single piece of dialogue. That's how obsessed I was with it. And that was it. From then on, I was just like, Spider-Man, you know, Batman, everything, dude. Like, I really got into Spider-Man really hardcore, too. Spidey, that punk-ass kid, like I told you last time, it just gets me. Yeah. There's something about that fighting little kid spirit in all of us. Spidey just touches home. And I think, really, when it comes to the cinema side of it, I think Tom Holland does the best job of representing the Spider-Man that I love, you know, that punk kid from Brooklyn. Yeah. But when it comes to the comic side, the Ultimate series is my favorite. Yeah. Because it's so grim. It's like a lot more dark, and I like that kind of stuff. I always have. You know, the kick them in the face, oh, I save the day. I get that. That's natural superhero. But I always like that, like, hey, Spider-Man, you just got your ass handed to you. Go home, think about it for a few days, you know. You might hide your identity. Like, that's more realistic to me. So that's what I tend to, you know, nature to, is like the dark side of things. So like the new like Marvel movies with Infinity War stuff, you know, it's sad, but I thought it was cool as shit that Iron Man, you know, the genius Tony Stark died in those movies. Of course, that kind of ties into the Ultimate series, which, I think I'm right. I think that is Ultimate. Is it Ultimate that Iron Man gets killed off?
I mean, probably. That universe is done, so I don't know.
Oh, it's over with?
Yeah. They pulled Miles into the regular 616, so he's the only character that, like, made him money. So they're supposed to be bringing the Ultimate Universe back soon. That's kind of the rumor. Yeah, as far as that goes, like, the evil Mr. Fantastic is around from the Ultimate Universe. He's been in the Venom books. Miles Morales is the big hit wonder, you know, out of the Ultimate Universe, where he showed up after Peter got killed. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like those.
Shit. So,
but supposedly they're bringing them back.
I hope so, man.
Yeah.
I want that one series you was telling me about. That new one. What you said it's a new Spider-Man series? You was telling me something about it at the bar last time.
I don't know. I say a lot of things about comics. It's tough to sell you. But there's a couple really good stuff out right now. King in Black's awesome. It's just started. Issue 2 hit this last week, and it's the big overarching story where Null, the god of the... He's basically the god of the void, the god of darkness. He's the creator of the symbiotes. He has come to Earth and is just wrecked house. Like, almost all the heroes are taken over by him. Eddie Brock just died. His son's freaking out. Like, Venom just doesn't exist right now. Like, he sucked the Venom symbiote into himself because he created the symbiotes. Like, it's just the Marvel universe is just full of blackness right now, and that's King in Black. It's really cool. Damn. There's just a lot of really good stuff right now. There was a Spider-Man series that just ended, a miniseries by J.J. Abrams and his son. They did one, so it was kind of its own story, and it takes place in kind of an alternate possible future where Peter has a son named Ben. He's like, I don't know, 13 or 14.
Oh, he named him Ben.
And Mary Jane is dead.
Yeah, that's the one you was telling me about.
Yeah. Peter's missing his arm. It all happened at the same time, and like so he quit being Spider-Man, and now he's just like a photojournalist around the world, and he's just and Ben's at home with Aunt May, and he finds Peter's Spider-Man suit up in the attic.
And he's born with the powers.
And
right?
well, he's not born with them, but they start to kick, much like a mutant. They start to like come in as he's hitting puberty. And so, like, as he's learning to use them and he starts sneaking to be Spider-Man, he gets in over his head, like, pretty quick. But it brings, like, Peter back into the fray, and Mary Jane comes back in a way, and then Peter gets to, like, redeem himself. So it sets up this new... This alternate future timeline, but it's pretty cool, and they can go back and use it if they want to or whatever.
That is badass.
The art's great in it, and... the story's really good. It just took a long time. It's like 5 issues, and it took like a year and a half to come out because I imagine because he's making a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams.
And then COVID hit. So like there are a lot of things slowing that book down.
I get it.
But
it's all 5 are out now.
All 5 are out now. Yeah, they'll be collecting it in a graphic novel soon. But like I think we have like all the issues at the shop.
I want them.
It's good. It's just called Spider-Man.
Damn, I want them. That sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I like J.J. Abrams. I like his movies.
Mm-hmm.
He did a really good job with Star Trek.
Yeah. I never really cared much for Star Trek. I mean, I'd seen some, but I didn't really care for it. But his, I dug those. Yeah. Which I mean, it could be because they were more actiony like Star Wars, and maybe that's on me. But
we won't talk about it. But you know what? If it comes to Star Trek, my favorite show of all time is Next Generation.
Mm-hmm.
Riker,
I remember watching
Picard.
Deep Space Nine a lot.
Deep Space Nine was
and
good
it seemed like it came
so
on
dark.
weird, like late at night.
Yeah.
Like maybe it was syndicated. It would come on late, and I remember staying up and like I would watch it in between like other weird shit. But
yeah, Deep Space Nine was the dark one. It was like the darkest one of all.
I remember it was one they were in a bar a lot in that.
Yeah, and probably. So. If you were in deep space, I think you'd probably be drinking a lot too.
That's true. I probably drink a lot not in deep space. It's fine.
I think Deep Space Nine, that station was the farthest towards like the Klingon line.
Yeah.
Like neutral space. I mean.
I don't know enough to know. I'm just.
Yeah.
I've never been a super Star Trek dude.
Oh, the person that got me into like Star Trek and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Big shout out to one of my favorite teachers of all time, Mr. Mayfield.
Richard Mayfield.
Yes.
Richard May, he's a very good customer.
I love him.
He was in the shop I stopped in today. He was in there today.
Yeah.
Brought us a Christmas card.
Did he really?
Yep.
Yeah, that sounds like Mayfield. I always see him walking his cat downtown.
Yeah.
Wave at him. He always waves back. But he's the one that got me into RPGs. I took RPG club in high school, and he would shove us up dragon asses and stuff, and it's all good. It's just part of the fun.
Hey.
That's Mayfield for you, though.
That's the way to go.
He just doesn't give a shit.
That's right. He shoves children up dragons' asses during school. So
now we're gonna get.
He's retired now. It's fine. He's retired. It's fine. It's fine. He's not gonna watch this. It's okay.
I don't know. I might have him on next week. Might catch him downtown. Mayfield. I got a secret dice. It's got 52 sides.
Every morning he does.
Mm-hmm.
I know. I love him.
He's really diligent.
But he was the one that made me watch The Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And, Doctor Who.
Mm-hmm.
And I still love Doctor Who because I watched them from episode 1, season 1, all the way up until the newest one.
Oh, yeah. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot of watching.
It was every day. Every day we watched a new Doctor Who show. And then we would skip to the next season. You'd have to write a paragraph on what happened to the Doctor in that episode.
It's cool how he didn't teach anyone anything.
He taught us everything. He taught me so much about life is to not give a shit about what anybody thinks about you. Do what makes you happy. And
now he is that guy.
Yeah, and
he is that guy that does not give a shit.
No,
he's gonna do what he's gonna do. However he does it, he doesn't care what anybody says about it.
Yeah,
he's got it.
Mayfield always goes, tenure.
Yeah, don't care at all.
But the Weeping Angels, they still give me nightmares.
Yeah.
I hate them. But and then so let's see, the last thing we touched on, which got really fucking weird real quick, which I like. So I think we talked about simulation theory. And you going into
David Icke and simulation theory.
Yes. And you going into a tunnel and a bat screaming at you.
Oh yeah, I don't think that was even on. I don't think we talked about that while we were recording. I think that was just a post talk. You want to talk about that now? You want to talk about that now?
I like that story.
All right. Okay.
Tell us.
So yeah. So between the wrestling and the comic shop and just functioning as a human, we try to get up to creepy, weird adventures. Delaney and myself, we spent a lot of time doing that for her birthday last year. We went to Point Pleasant, spent the weekend, and we're always doing, on Halloween. We spent the night in a haunted schoolhouse out in eastern Kentucky, which, I mean, it may be or it may not be. It was not proven to us, but I'm open to all of it. I'm open to everything because it makes everything more fun.
Me too. Man.
If you just, I would rather believe in everything than just believe in nothing and everything be boring, because it's just like, well, shit, man. If there's nothing else weird around, then you better start making it weird, because, what's the use then?
Fucking for real.
Yeah. So we for last Christmas, we were actually talking about today, last Christmas Eve, so almost a year ago. In Burnside, there are these two no longer used train tunnels, and you have to drive out by this house with a bunch of chicken coops, and you go out this little road, and boom, there's these two train tunnels, but they're back to back. So like, there's a train tunnel, there's probably maybe 200 or 300 yards, and there's another train tunnel, and they skirt around the lake, so you can see the lake off to your right the whole time. Yeah, very cool. So we drove down there. We had our stuff, and we've got, EMF detectors and voice recorders and just random odds and ends that, we use when we go, to weird, spooky spots. Just cool stuff, things you see on the television. It's fine. So we go through the tunnel, and most of it's too, because we also like hiking, exploring, and doing stuff. So, a train tunnel, perfect. Plus, it's very rough hewn. They're very old and unused. So the tracks are there, but, you go in, and, of course, it's, dark fast, and they're really long, and they're curved, so like you can't see the end of it from one end. You can't see through completely. You have to go into it midway before you can see out the other side. So, super spooky, super dark. We like it. So we go in, and we're walking through. We have the EMF detectors out. We're just kind of looking around, hanging out, just enjoying walking through the tunnel, looking at everything with the flashlights. No real readings or anything, nothing going on. So we put ours up. We get out of the first tunnel, daylight comes in, we walk through, just super nice walk through the woods, into the next tunnel, we go through that tunnel. That tunnel's even more like rough-hewn and unused and dark and drippy and creepy. Get the EMF detectors out again, nothing, just, nothing going on, completely fine, completely cool. It's still a cool tunnel. Whenever you get out the end of that second tunnel, it's a drop-off to the lake, where I guess there were a bridge there at one time or whatever. So it's just really cool. We hung out there for a little bit, took some photos. And then we go back through. As we go back through, Delaney's like, well, I'm going to, use my EMF detector again. I'm like, cool. I'm like, I'm not going to worry about it. I don't think there's anything. So we go through that first one, nothing. We go back through the wooded area again. We're getting back. Of course, the sun's getting lower. It's Christmas Eve. We get back into the first tunnel on the way back. And before we got out of that tunnel the first time, using the flashlight, we noticed a little something on the wall. And so we look at it, and it was a bat, like a small, I'm talking like, let's say 4-inch bat. And it's curled up, hanging upside down, dead as hell. Like, we didn't want to disturb it, but we're like, how this thing, is it breathing? And we just like kept getting closer and looking, like it was dead.
It's like petrified.
Yeah, it was just hanging there like petrified. Yeah, it wasn't like rotted or anything. It was there, fur was there. It was just, I'm assuming the coolness of the cave and everything has just kept it preserved. So we saw it. It was cool. It's tiny little bat. Okay, so we see it again whenever we're coming back into that tunnel. You know, basically in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, we're going to leave here. We're going to get some food, go to the house, whatever. So we're walking through the tunnel. You know, we get about midway through to where you can't see either entrance or exit, and it's super dark. Turn the flashlight off, you know, get out the EMF, get the voice recorder, you know, give it a shot, you know, ask some questions, see if anything, nothing. I mean, it's just nothing. You know, and I mean, that happens. It happens more times than not. Yeah. You get nothing.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, TV, they edit stuff, you know. Yeah. You know, they make it to where there's stuff, but like,
edit it,
there's a lot of time where there's nothing. So we, you know, it's fine. It's still a fun day, you know. So, you know, I put everything up. She still has her EMF detector, and like we're leaving to go out the tunnel. So we're leaving to go out of the tunnel, and you know, she's talking, and she's like, okay, like, you know, like if somebody's here, like this is your last chance to like, you know, talk to us. We're gonna be leaving, you know, and all this. And then all of a sudden, about that time, like her EMF detector goes from like nothing to like boom, like all the way to red, just all the way up, stays, and then drops back down.
Did you freak out at first about it?
Well, she was very excited.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it, so then I was like, what? You know, so I'm just like, okay, let's see it happen again. Yeah, because I mean, there's no, and the tunnel, there's always that part of me where it's like, okay, there's probably electric lines above us, there's stuff, but one, the tunnel's so huge and so much rock that like, it would be hard for that to spike it anyway, and also randomly doing it. But also it's like, hey, if it's, you know, phones sometimes or everything, so like, you know, we made sure to like go all around the phones and all that stuff, nothing setting it off. So she keeps talking, and, you know, and she's asking the, you know, is somebody here, and, you know, all this, and like every time that she is getting ready to leave and we're going to go, that's when she'll ask something, it'll spike. And then she'll like, it's kind of the thing you do, like you get excited, so then you're like, oh, I'm going to move back to this area to see if it'll spike again.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it would do that, and then she would talk about getting ready to leave, and then it would spike again, so she would move back again. So like, whether it was a thing, benevolent, not, whatever it was.
It was consistent.
It was consistently also getting her to go back farther into the tunnel.
Well, you're like,
which seems like a horrible plan, right? So I'm just like, okay, well, you know, we know what this is, and because, like I say, like I'm open to the existence of everything, whether it be interdimensional beings, whether it be aliens, whether it be demons, ghosts. I don't care. Agreed. I'm down for all of it. Let me see some of it.
Same.
I'm super thirsty. For all of it.
I'm a whore for it.
So we're doing that. So, you know, and this goes on for a while until finally it kind of stops. So, I mean, it's probably a good 15 to 20 minutes of like what would be deemed as intelligent responses on the EMF to that. Now, we did voice record at the same time too. Nothing really came from that. But the EMF was, I mean, visually, you know, it was popping pretty good. So I'm like, okay, let's just go, because there's always that, well, you know, not like provoking, but just making the statement, we're getting out of here and getting to start walking, see if it does it again, right? So we're legitimately going. We're probably, let's say, we're probably 40 foot or so from the entrance of the cave. My Jeep is outside the cave parked. I can't really see it, but I'm thinking it's pretty close, you know, but, you know, because you got to kind of go around to see.
How long had you been in the cave, like walking back and forth at that time?
Oh, it had been we had probably been in that cave from coming back into it on our way back to stopping to doing all that. It'd probably been a good 45 minutes or so. And so we're getting ready to leave, and we get towards the mouth of the cave, and this massive echoey hiss from the direction of the front of the cave just blasts us in the face. I mean, I just, not like I'm mistaking it, I instantly ran towards it, not because I was like, ooh, this is something. I thought the tire on my Jeep had burst. It was yes, but like, and then constant.
Damn.
Like, hiss.
Like a frequency.
Yeah, and like loud. So I go up, and then as I get closer to the mouth of the cave, I see my Jeep is parked way farther up than I remembered parking.
Fucking hear it.
So it wasn't that. So then it becomes, And of course, there's that in the back of your mind. It's like, oh, was that something? But then there's that part where I'm like, okay, what's around the mouth of this cave that burst or that made this noise? So then it becomes looking around all these rocks. Because, I mean, people go there. Like, there's graffiti everywhere, which also is one of those things, too, where there's graffiti. And, you know, it's pentagrams and bullshit everywhere. Yeah. But it's also like, how many times can random teens get up to no good and randomly paint sigils and shit on a wall before something could happen? Yeah. Or enough stories get told that something manifests. You know,
symbolism is one of the strongest forms of magic.
Yeah, it's all of that. So, you know, there's all that possibility, but I'm looking like for like spray cans or anything that could have burst and caused that. Like, there's nothing there. Then I'm like, there was a bat back there at the cave. Let's look around for bats and stuff. Nothing around. No animals to make the hiss. None of that stuff. So it was just really weird. The MF didn't go off again, and so then we just went back home. It was just a weird experience to have and then leave, right?
It's fucking weird.
So she's telling her mom about it like a day or two later, and her mom comes back, and she's like, I think it was a bat hissing. And Delaney's like, yeah? And then like she sent these links to like YouTube videos, and Delaney's looking them up. It's the exact sound we heard. However, unless there was a bat in broad daylight that was like the Predator with super camouflage, the only bat that existed that day in that cave was tiny and dead at the other end.
Are you sure it was dead?
It was completely dead, trust me. And so, super weird, man.
That's weird.
It's just one of those things that, like, can't say what it was, but I can't explain it.
What if you, like, stepped on the landmine to the bat cave?
I mean, that could be, assuming Batman's in southeastern Kentucky.
I guarantee it. The fucking area.
If he did, there'd be a lot less meth labs here. So
that's what. That's what exactly. Mike said that's why they blow up. That's totally it. No, I get it.
But it was weird, man.
There is always weird shit. But
weird shit.
One thing is, like, I found out, you know, over the past couple of years, we was talking about this the other night too. Is like there's been a lot of strange shit lately. Like a lot of strange happenings, and like more things just keep piling on it, you know, like a pyramid.
Yeah, and it's some of it because people now, thanks to Hellier and Pennyroyal and just being in that mindset, are discovering more things and bringing more stuff to light, or are more people just thinking about it more, that it's now just manifesting into existence.
Well, I'm 100% into manifest theory. Like, I think if enough people around the globe, or enough people in a community or wherever concentrate and focus on one certain type of thing, it becomes. I think that's how it works. I was telling you about that the other night with like sci-fi and stuff in the 50s. It's like, oh, aliens in the comic books and invaders from Mars, you know, and now we're seeing UFOs released by F-18, you know, FLIR cams and shit.
Yeah.
You know? And I believe all that. I believe that's like, if it was a simulation, I think that's how it worked.
It's definitely, however it is, those are unidentified things that they can't explain that they have on camera.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to see all of it.
Yeah.
I want to see every bit of it.
I do too, man. Like, take me now.
Yeah. Let me see everything.
Let me be greeted.
Yeah. Tell me about all this shit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not into the probing, but I'll take a handshake and like a stiff drink.
Hey, have you ever been probed by an alien?
No.
Then you don't know, you're not into it.
It's true. Oh, shit. Well, okay, so coming off of that, Mike was talking about something the other day. Like, literally, like, right after you left.
Yeah.
He was talking about, like, the Hollow Earth theory, right? And do you believe in Hollow Earth at all?
I mean, I know there are caves. Do I believe the entire Earth is hollow? No, just like I don't believe the entire Earth is flat.
I get it.
But can there be miles and miles of deep caverns and areas and pockets under us that we aren't aware of? 100%. I feel like it's just proven true by Mammoth Cave's existence.
Agreed.
Like, and under the ocean, who knows what caves are under there?
Well,
you know,
I don't know if you knew this or not, but I also said it in the beginning of the Pennyroyal podcast, but I'll explain on it a little bit. The Appalachian Mountain Range is the oldest in the world after the formation of Pangea. See, before Pangea, there were two great continents, and they were connected by a land bridge. And when the first tectonic plates started to collide, when they started to smush together, they formed the Appalachian Mountain Range. And they were actually taller than the Himalayas. But because they're so old, that's why their elevation isn't over like 4,000 or 5,000 feet. You understand?
Yeah, yeah.
So, after all the years of erosion and runoff, glaciers and asteroidal impacts, nuclear winter, have it what you will, limestone is, more softer type of sediment.
Yeah.
And so, after nuclear winters and, asteroidal impacts and volcanic eruptions and shit, you have acid rains from so much, acid from molten lava and shit in the atmosphere, and that stuff penetrates through limestone and creates huge caverns, kind of like Mammoth Cave.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically how all the caves in this area were created by acid rainfall. And, slow erosion over millions of years. And so, you go deeper than that, there's surely bigger ones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or does the pressure from gravity get too intense? Or is there like a magnetic field that's like pulling towards the iron core inside the earth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of has a reverberating force. So like denser pressure, and then it's like, oh, well, here's a little softness, and then right underneath that softness, like the mantle's rolling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then inside that, it's like this hard, real dense course of iron and shit pulling against each other, creating all these type of, vibrations and shit within the earth. Or, we don't know that. We don't actually know what the inside of the earth looks like, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we can use LiDAR and look through the surface, and we can use, sonar and look underneath the surface, but we've only been so far down, and like compared to the actual thickness of the crust, it's like literally like from like the tabletop to here, it's like that deep.
Yeah.
Like, lighters deep.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like we barely even fucking dented the surface. And the asteroid that hit the Yucatan Peninsula, 650 million years ago and killed the dinosaurs, like that shit went 3 miles into the surface. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a long ways down. And so to think even, lower than that, 3 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, 24 miles down, it could be hollow as shit. And inside that, this is what Mike was talking about. Inside that, there could be like some kind of fucking mechanical supercomputer, okay? Because before, this is how Mike was explaining it to me. Before we understood, fucking physics the way we do now, quantum physics, how you can send electrodes to places, and even those electrodes will wildly jump in between two circuits, they'll still do what you want most of the time. Before that, computers were controlled mechanically, used mechanical circulations and mechanical things to make computers think and, do the things you needed them to do. So technically, the inside the Earth and all its motion with the core spinning and then the mantle moving and everything, that could be enough mechanical power that big to power something like a sandbox mode. So you ever use a sandbox mode on a PC? It's basically where you open up, it's called the sandbox, and you open it up and it's your PC. Okay? And so if you download a video and it's like filled with porn, but that porn's like a Trojan virus and will fuck all your files up, you can take that porn folder and move it into the sandbox, and it'll do everything it's literally gonna do. Like but the viruses will come out of it. And basically you're running that file full of viruses on your computer, but it's all fake and simulated with inside the sandbox.
Oh, gotcha.
So we were talking about if there was enough mechanical power, mechanical physics within the Earth, then guaranteed it could run a sandbox on the outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think it's just a theory.
Well, I mean, there's the theories too that there are giant machines under the Earth, and that's where the race of like goblins, for lack of a better term, like were left there, who were like controlling it, and then they were just left there, or like automatons and all that. There's all kinds of this stuff.
Well, like the Titans, right? From ancient Greek mythology, and speaking of goblins,
but according to David Icke, the moon is the ship that is also reflecting the beam that shot down to Earth for the simulation. It's all coming from space, brother. Space.
And we're just a projection.
Yeah. And the Draconians are just running the show, and then they're down here also, eating babies as the British royal family.
I get it. I told you I dug that the other night. That's what's wrong with all those motherfuckers. That's why it didn't work here. Because this is the one spot where they can't touch. This is the gateway. You know? It is. And if you look at, like, everything that all, like, the magic dudes have used, like, all the energies and the powers over the world, like, and you collaborate it all into a place, you would want to use a place that probably has the most energy in the world, which would probably be a region that has been the oldest in the world, with one of the first spikes of energy, which would be the creation of mountains, which could be the Appalachian Mountain Range, which could point you right here. You know, this could be the gateway through the fucking veil.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Could be.
Like, it all makes sense. Like you meet interdimensional beings like Sasquatch. You a big Sasquatch fan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and like, or like goblins or werewolves and shit. Like all those things. Like sci-fi always stems from something, right? Sometimes it's imagination, but imagination normally is fucking penny picked from other things that are real. And so it kind of like dragons, like all across the world. There's all kinds of painting of dragons and shit on walls that were done. They're carbon dated to be done around the same time, but those regions weren't in connection with each other that we know of. Okay, we can go into the whole theory of like advanced ancient civilizations, Graham Hancock and all that shit, but that's a whole nother podcast. I don't want to do that. But still, like, all these things stem from something. So I mean, if you have a gateway or some sort of gateways, and you use this high energy to open these gateways, I feel like places like, you know, here and, you know, other places in the world, you find these gateways and you see shit like that. So, like, I'm with you. Like,
I want to see it all.
Feed it to me.
I wish they would. Like, I don't know.
I do too. I'm
a repulsive magnet for it because I just want it so much that it's just pushed away. Pushed away. I don't get it.
And me, I'm more like I'm into it and I fully believe it, but at the same time, I'm like a super like a super realist kind of.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I gotta, you know, work hard, pay my bills, and make sure everything's fine and dandy. But at the same time, I'm like an outdoorsman. I'm super connected to nature, you know. And like I can like vibe frequencies really well when I'm out in places in like the woods and from people. Like I can read energies like really good. I've always been like that. That's why I'm kind of like an entertainer. Like most of my friends and stuff, you know, they always want, you know, get together, let's do it at Josh's, fuck it, you know, because I always like to be the person where it's done at and the entertainer and stuff. It's just who I am, because I can read frequencies and shit and energy, you know, and I feed off that energy too a lot. I like negative energy, like if I like it takes like one thing to just send me down a bad fucking day, you know. And I try not to let it get the best of me, but it's like instant, you know. Like I can't help it. I'm so sensitive to the energies. But yeah, I don't know. I try to say no to it all, but it finds me and it seeks me out. So I'm complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
It's like you're seeking for it and looking for it. And I'm like, I just want to go fucking hunting. And it's like, hey, look at that alien spaceship. Oh fuck. Yeah. There's a goblin over there behind that tree. You see that shit? Eat this mushroom. I'll show you a gateway to hell.
Well, to be fair, I could probably get that one going.
We should go get that one going. Look, man, I dig it. I dig what you do, dude. I think it's cool. I think having a fucking, I think expressing yourself in like whatever fucking way you can.
Sexually.
Awesome. Yes.
Sexually.
Even that way.
Yes.
Me and Michael pull out the sex swing later. We'll get funky.
I saw it the last time.
Yeah, you got to keep that jacket on though.
All the recordings gone from the last time, man.
I know we had to delete it.
Everybody's missing so much, man. So much stuff that the government would want to listen to.
Oh, I know.
Just gone.
And the feds are in town right now.
Yeah.
I seen them the other night in the Kmart parking lot.
You know why they're here? Massage parlor.
Massage parlor. Oh shit. Yeah. Where at?
I can't get into it on this.
You tell me when we're off there. I'm gonna take Mike down there. I thought it had to do. I thought it had to do with the Wally shit. I thought they were still here because of that constable.
You know, everyone in town now, they've got like that big city list profile up.
Yeah.
Through all the citizens.
Oh yeah, we was talking about that. They're especially looking at Lemonjuice McGee. Like, what the fuck's this guy doing?
They're welcome to it.
And they're like, hey.
They come to the shop, spend some of that sweet money, some federal money.
I think they should.
They should. Everybody should.
But you gotta dope ass Luke Skywalker with Yoda on his back and a Han Solo right beside him. It's like fucking 22 inches tall.
Yeah.
That shit's cool. I should go come by that.
You should come by it.
I want it, but I'm scared what you're gonna say the price is on it. And even though we're like,
it's fair.
You know,
it's fair.
Yeah, but is it like, hey, come eat at my house and I'll give you this, or is it like, hey man, we're cool, but $600?
It's not that bad. Not that bad.
I don't know. That Vader was.
But it's been great. We've had a lot of.
Appreciate craftsmanship.
That's right. Craftsmanship. The benefit is, Pulaski County, Somerset, and really all the surrounding counties have been really supportive of the shop since we opened and since we kind of reopened, where we had to close for COVID, and this holiday season's been awesome. The last few days have just been killer because a lot of people, it's their first time in, and they're just like, man, Walmart was out of everything. Do you have Pokemon cards? And we're like, fuck yeah, we got Pokemon cards. And they're just like, oh, you have all this other stuff. I was like, yeah, we have all these things. We have all these things everybody else is out of because we carry all of it. Like, just come here. So a lot of people come in for their first time, picking up presents, plan on coming back, so it's good.
I agree. I think everybody should go in. Like yesterday. I feel bad.
That was your first time being in?
It was my first time being in.
Yeah.
I walked in, dude was like, hey, you got a mask? It's like, yes, I do. Let me go grab it. Put my mask on, come back in. It literally, I felt like I was in the spot I was supposed to be in. And honest to God with you, if I was in fucking school, I'd be riding my bicycle to your shop every afternoon after school. If I didn't have, family and priorities and shit to come home to, and I was still, 15 years old and living in La La Land. Your place would be my place to go.
Yeah.
And I think it might turn into that anyways, to be honest.
Man, it's a great spot.
I'm just going to go fuck it up on that fucking retro system you got there.
Yeah,
you literally have 4 or 5 TVs, right? Mm-hmm. With these you got Pis, Raspberry Pis.
Yeah.
And they got emulators on them.
Yeah, there's 6,800 games on them. Yeah,
that is fucking nuts.
And then we've got the stand-up WWF Superstars game, and we've always got stuff playing on the TV next to the bar, and man,
it's a fucking joint
all the time,
literally.
dude.
It's a lot of fun.
Whenever we decided to build it, and me and Jim and Jeremy, it was one of those where we were, it had to be a place that if I was gonna not do wrestling, and spend my time there and then have to start paying rent on a place and pay employees and all this stuff that we were going to do, it had to be worth the time to have it. I didn't want to we went from the get-go, we weren't going to have a regular retail store. So initially our first spot we were looking at was next to Jarfly on the square right there.
Oh, that would
at the Goldberg Furniture up front where that restaurant was that closed.
It's kind of a smaller space.
It's a smaller space, but at the time we hadn't fully fleshed it out, and we were like, this place would be awesome because it's on the square and it's on the corner and it's got the big windows. Yeah. But it was just a hassle trying to get it.
It's probably more expensive right there on the square too.
Yeah, well, our place is pretty huge, so it's probably it's comparable.
You're paying the square
footage,
but spot.
After we got it together, I'm much happier with. While I would like to have been downtown just to have a spot in downtown Somerset, because I do like that the things they're trying to do in downtown for the most part. I do too. But I don't want to get into this thing because there's things I don't like about it. Yeah. But most of the stuff I like about it. But yeah, so we're on 27, which granted, immediately from a business standpoint, that's smarter. But I'm not always about just how much money can I make. I also want specific, I want to serve a certain group of people. I want to have the coolest spot. I want to do all this stuff. So we're on 27. And I'm glad we're there. I would have loved to have been downtown, but the spot we have, and as huge as it is, it's it's a perfect spot. Yeah, it's a perfect spot. So
I dig it.
Yeah.
I pass there. Every time I pass there, I look over at it. I'm like, why does that look like a fucking circus tent? It was
designed that way.
Honestly, I look at it. I'm like, looks like a circus tent. And then literally every fucking time, your parking lot's basically. Always got more than 6 cars in.
Oh yeah, man, it's always busy. Yeah.
And then I walk in and I'm like, oh, I get it. I get why everybody comes back every day. This is where I want to be.
yeah, man, it's a cool spot. And the stripes. We talked about we decided to do the stripes on the outside of the building. It took us a while. We found a painting crew to do it. They did a great job. But there was a lot of math involved, and I think by the time it was over, they were of the mind of don't tell people we did it. Because they didn't want to have to do it again for somebody because it was so much work. But it looks like $1 million.
It does. I like it.
And it didn't cost $1 million. It cost a lot. It didn't cost $1 million though.
You
so that was
good. Repaint it. You just call me, bro.
But yeah, and then all of our signage went up. We the oh no, I forgot their name. I was gonna plug them and I forgot their name. The sign place over near Kmart.
I know who you're talking about too.
Is it Dynamic?
I don't know, but literally, like, if you're passing Kmart going towards Subway,
they wrap vehicles, all that stuff. I'm doing them a disservice by not knowing. But anyway, they built us the biggest lighted sign they've ever built, the one that says comics on the side.
Yeah.
Which we had storms and stuff. It got busted. It came loose. It busted. So they're fixing the front acrylic right now. It's why it's got kind of it lights up, but it's got basically like a vinyl banner over the front right now. But that's just why they're getting the acrylic in, which is hard to apparently get right now. We've got the huge sign above. They did all that signage for us. It worked out great. We did as much of the work ourselves as we could. So Jim and I, we pulled up all the old shitty carpet from the bar that was there before, and
Wait, they had carpet in that bar?
Yeah, like real short, like it just piss and beer covered carpet.
Oh, yes. I get it, like
super
fucking
gross.
Finley's Fun Center carpet. Yeah. Okay.
And they had the low drop ceiling through the whole place. So once we found out that where it used to be a Chevy garage, it has the high metal ceilings with the fiberglass skylights. We tore all that out of the floor area, the cells area, so that took more time. And then of course all the walls, I painted all those big ass blue walls. I painted all those.
I fucking hate painting.
We paid a dude to lay the floor because that was one of those things where it's like somebody's got to do this because it's so big. If it's off one little bit, then it's just crooked forever. So we had a great dude come up from Jamestown. He laid the floor for us, and it's been great. Everybody that's helped us out with stuff has done a really good job for us. Our electrician did a great job on really short notice because the state was in us inspecting us hard, and so he came in and fixed everything up, made it good, because the wiring in there was old as shit because it'd been around since the 50s, because it was a Chevy garage back in the 50s. It apparently was a karate place at one point. It was a furniture place at one point, a church somewhere down the line.
It was part of that
it was a bar at one time. It was all kinds of stuff.
Well, it's right past the Roses Center, which was the shit back in there.
Yeah. So it's been a lot of stuff. So naturally it's had a lot of weird wiring and old wiring, and so that's all been fixed up. But it's great right now, man. And we're constantly improving on the place, and we're constantly finding new ways to engage people and get stuff going. And it's good. We do the Facebook Live sales. Most weeks we do them Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 5 nights a week, Sunday through Thursday. Usually we're doing live sales every night. I think there's one going currently while we're live right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we're constantly got those going. We've got customers from all over the country, which is fantastic because, especially whenever we were shut down, it helped us. We were still moving comics online and locally with the local curbside pickup, and it helped us be able to keep the place going and keep stuff coming in. So whenever we're able to reopen, we're able to keep all our staff and have everything. We don't have to lay anybody off or anything like that.
Badass, man.
It's a thing we're constantly working on. We always want to have good customer service, keep people happy. Doesn't always happen because some people are just dickheads. That's just life. That's part of retail. That's part of any business. Some people, I don't care if they shop with us. That's just the hard truth of reality, baby.
That's fine, dude. That's how I am.
We've got so many good people for every person, for every few that are bad. We have so many fantastic customers that we're just so thankful for all the time, and it's been so good for us. And they followed us from other comic stores we've had and worked at, and some of them are just loyal everywhere we've been. They've been at, so now that we're at this home base, they're there. We make sure they're taken care of, and man, it's great.
I love it.
We launched the website a few months ago, the lemonjuicecomics.com, to where a lot of people can order. It's mostly just variant and exclusive comics and stuff like that, and does great. We ship out of that all the time. We've got a private subscriber group on Facebook that if you have comics put back for you each time, you can basically ask to be accepted into our subscriber group on Facebook, and then it's just a page for people who are subscribers, so we hook them up with special deals and private sales, and here's some new stuff we're not going to show anybody yet. You can get it for this special price, and we try to make sure that people who are with us and customers who are really with us, we get them hooked up as much as we can.
I'm with you now.
So
I love it. I love it. Honestly, it's a dope ass spot.
Thanks, man.
Seriously, it's like if you could have took the coolest fucking arcade in the world and
which we're working on getting that part going soon.
I know, I heard that. And mashed it with the fucking dopest comic shop in town, and kicked yourself back to the fucking, childhood realm of it. Throw in some beer.
Yeah.
Fucking, it's the spot.
Yeah, man, it's good.
I'm gonna come in lit from now on. It's just
I like it.
What do I do? Somerset.
We've got some good staff, man. They'll put you on some good stuff.
They're nice, too.
We've been really lucky about a couple of them been there since we've opened, and then most of the others have been there second round of hirings, because generally people ask all the time if we're hiring, of course, because it's a cool spot. And we're always like, whenever we do, we put it up on Facebook. We put the app on Facebook. You fill it out. I try to talk to everybody that applies.
I'm gonna apply.
And it's went really well. We've got some really good staff, and
everybody's super nice to me, man.
It's going really good.
Plus, I got the handed tour by Lemonjuice McGee.
There you go. I got to hook everybody up when I can.
Like, buy this Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Buy that.
Well, I mean,
you should grab this.
That's how that works.
I have $40, bro.
You left with something cool.
I did. I got the coolest shit in the world.
There you go.
I love that Carbonite Star Trooper.
It's good. It's a good figure.
Like, out of everything you had there, that Yoda was cool as shit. And, the Luke Skywalker and stuff. But I just seen that Carbonite Star Trooper. I was like, never seen that before.
Yeah, man, it's shiny.
I want that.
You can't go wrong with shiny stuff.
Apparently, I guess it's got graphite coated painting on it.
Oh, yeah.
Which is super cool, because graphite painting is used for props and models in the movie making business, like ILM, Industrial Light Magic.
Oh, nice.
Like when they were making, working on the Star Wars movies and doing shit like that, they would use the graphite powdered paint and shit to give texture and detail to metal parts. So that's what really got me about it. I read it had graphite paint. I was like, oh, no way. That took a little bit of time, because you have to hand apply that shit. You have to applicate that stuff by hand. So I was like, that's pretty cool, because some poor Mexican children down the line from Hasbro was just like, I had to paint this, center.
That is true. That is probably how that goes.
It makes me feel like I gave him a Feliz Navidad. But I enjoyed the shit of it, man. I'm coming back every day. You're going to get tired of seeing my face.
Thanks, man. We dig it. Yeah. Lemonjuice McGee's Comic Cavalcade. Yep. Facebook, Instagram. Of course, we've got the lemonjuicecomics.com website. And when you come in the store, we try to make sure that we have a lot of people who come out of state to come to the store because they watch the live sales and stuff. And so I try to. We've had a really good job, too, of finding local designers to design different logos of the store, for the store's logo, like the 80s design you like so much on the sticker. Yeah, like Tyler Sanchez, she's a local. She designed that logo for us, and the Jim and the Juice, Japanese chibi logo we've got. She did those. I'm good for now. And, we try to farm out all that stuff as locally as we can, as long as, people are down to do the weird things we're asking for, because we have sweatshirts, T-shirts, stickers, koozies, sunglasses, the whole 9 yards. Yeah. If I can put our name on something, someone will buy it, I will do that all day long, because just helpful advertisement. It's great. I get it. But a lot of people want that name on their stuff, so it's awesome.
Yeah, I like it. I like all the shit you did. And you said what's her name, Tyler?
Yeah, Tyler Sanchez. Yeah, yeah. And she's great, man. She's got a background in graphic design, and she's done a lot of stuff for us. So I probably need to get a hold of her soon to do something else. She did our death metal logo design. She did.
That was a limb hitting the studio.
The wind is pretty wild out there right now. When on the drive over, it's coming down pretty hard. Now, I mean, that could have been a limb. You are assuming that was a limb. I'm
assuming we didn't just get lifted by the fucking UFOs.
Yeah. You're assuming that someone wasn't on the roof listening, and they just slid from
I gotta go put on the suit. I'll be right
back. There you go. Who knows? Who knows what it could be?
Look, I already get to play Santa Claus. I don't need that fucking suit. I got 2 kids. This is the coolest thing in the world, really. It's like you always when you're little, you're like, oh, Santa Claus, is he fucking real? I want to catch his ass. Going into my chimney. Yeah. And then you grow up and you have kids, and you're like, oh shit, I'm Santa Claus now. My cookies are for me. Dad gets one night of the year to just be a complete fat ass and put gifts out. It's cool as shit.
My son just fully gave up the ghost on Santa last year.
Oh,
he's
really?
12, so he went a while.
That is pretty far.
He went a while.
I went to 9.
Yeah, but he, I think he was it was that, he's not real, but there was that part of maybe this present came from him, but now it's fully nah, it's cool. So
yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Fuck, I'm gonna have to go out and check for leaks now.
Yeah.
Santa Claus done fell through my fucking roof. Look, it is. When I put this thing together, I was like, man, I feel like it's being held up with twigs. Even though I'm a pretty good framer, and like you can ask all my friends, like when it comes to building, I'm the one they call.
Yeah.
But like at the same, I'm the worst to judge my work. Like I always try to do it. Well, I always do it the right way because to me, when you're building something, there's only one way to do it, and it's the exact right way it's supposed to be done. If it's not like that, then the structural integrity of it has already been compromised from the get-go. So I don't half-ass anything when it comes to building. And but when I put this together, I was just like, I did it over such a long period of time, and like with such a limited amount of funds, and I literally built this like April of 2019. I bought two 16-foot skids from the Amish down in Case County.
Yeah.
I brought them home, and I laid them in the dirt. And come, like, June, I bought my 2x6s to frame my floor joists and shit. And they're all treated, and I went at it, and I built it over like a year and a half. Just, paycheck to paycheck from the ground up. And I always feel like it's going to tip over when the wind blows too far. But everybody's like, dude, you couldn't run it over with a fucking train.
Yeah, I
it's
feel
so
like it's
sturdy.
pretty sturdy.
I know,
Pretty
but
sturdy.
to me, it's just like, whoa, be careful where you step. You're going to fall through the floor. I don't know. It's a cool joint, though, I guess. I'm still working on it. It's just like getting my lazy ass out of, bed on Saturday to do it. It's just kind of the hardest part. I got it to where it works and functions now, so.
Hey, man, it works. You're able to record all your stuff.
Okay.
It's not wet in here right now.
No,
so.
not now, but we'll talk about that in 20 minutes. Hey, dude, this was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I love your fucking jacket.
Second time out.
Yeah.
I feel like the first time, you're missing the more formal interview the last time.
It's true.
Yeah.
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 It's
hard to do that a second time because you've heard those. It's not genuine. You've heard those stories.
Yeah. Which is fine because I'm literally just in it for the conversation. Honestly,
Yeah.
like the point of my podcast was like, I think I told you this. It's just like, hey, there's some strange weird shit going on with some really interesting people in like the place that I call home, and I'm not gonna leave. Fuck it. I can go to California, sure, and be a movie fucking star, direct films, or I can go.
Is
to
that
Florida.
why you're gonna go to California, be a movie star?
No.
Is that you're just like, I can just do that drop of a hat. Like, I'm good.
Fuck
it's
it.
fine.
You put your mind to something, you can fucking
Hop
do
on
it.
that casting couch, brother. And
That's
you
right.
get.
I don't like that couch, bro. Now you need to take the jacket off. You're starting to feel like a different kind of manager. Lemonjuice McGee.
All right. Well, before we go, that's what I want from you.
What's that?
I want a weird secret story that I've not heard yet.
Okay. So you probably heard my goblin story, haven't you?
I think I've heard the goblin. Is it on Penny Royal?
Yeah, but
I've heard
only
it.
like a section because Nathan had to put so much in there.
All right. Well, tell me, and your listeners the good goblin story.
But they didn't hurt that, so.
They've done heard it.
Yeah.
What episode is that?
Well, it's literally the video before this one. I did like, what was it, like an hour? It was just me talking in a camera about
No shit.
the experience.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, hell. Okay.
It's
Well,
called-
I'll watch that later then.
Okay, yeah.
Tell me a different story.
It's called Shop with Goblins. All right, let's see. Fucking weird shit. Well, when my brother was little, I lived in this house out on Rainy Road in Shopville.
Okay.
And it was like a fucking mansion to me. It had a pool house. Mike remembers it. He used to come over there and play video games. It's huge. It had literally a balcony that went over the kitchen and the living room, like all the way through the fucking house.
This was in Shopville.
A-frame house, yeah, in Shopville.
Okay.
And it had a huge 2-car garage. You could literally fit like 4 fucking vehicles in it. Then it had a garage below it that you could fit like 8 vehicles in. Then it had a garage up the hill by the barn where you could fit like 2 more vehicles in it. Like, it was a big property. It had a huge, dive, slide on the pool and everything.
Yeah.
It had 2 bedrooms downstairs and a bathroom, plus the living room, and then the front living room, and then the kitchen, and the front den.
Does this place still exist in Shopville?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And the guy's actually expanded on it. He paints big rigs in there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang.
He fucking moved from like Indiana or Illinois when he bought my dad and my stepmom out. Just,
Oh.
Yeah. And anyways, my dad paid like $375,000 for it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was awesome. It was a mansion. But the guy that lived there before, his name was Lewis Sears.
Okay.
Name dropping because I don't even know if he's still alive or not.
Who cares?
Yeah. Lewis, if you're alive and you see this, hi. Anyways, we moved in. it was all pink and purple fucking carpets, right?
Mm-hmm. That sounds cool.
Like straight fucking out of the 80s. Like, legitimate. Like, wallpaper, pink, purple, lavender. Yeah. Those kinds of colors. Carpet.
He was just doing coke everywhere in that place.
Everywhere. Yeah. He literally had an office, which actually became my room because it was really cool because, like, the whole fucking one wall was just bookshelves, so I got to put everything on there. It was really cool. Anyways, so me and my dad remodeled it, and this is like, I think I was, let's see, I was 13 at the time, 12, 13. That's when I first started, you know, helping my dad remodel homes and learning the trade. And anyways, me and my dad remodeled it, and my little help from my cousin, and when we got to the kitchen, we was redoing the banister and stuff in the balcony. We had like a bunch of charred wood and shit. Turns out the house had caught on fire before, and like people died in it. And
oh shit.
Yeah. And I used to, my bedroom was like behind the fireplace. It had this huge stone fireplace that went all the way up the wall, you know, up into the A-frame ceiling, exposed beam and all that. It was really fucking cool. Huge fireplace. My room was behind it, so it was always fucking freezing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like I literally had to have a space heater on all the time in the wintertime because I would freeze if not. And out in front of my house was this long field up to the road. Like it's, we had like 13.7 acres, and the majority of the acreage was in front of the house to the road. So like when I got off school bus, I had to walk like basically a mile to my fucking house.
Yeah.
Unless my dad was down there to pick me up, you know, or I parked my dirt bike down there in the morning or something. Anyways, I used to have these dreams of like fucking like hordes of like these dog things like running through the fog up to the house, and like I would be like, what? No electricity in the house, but I would have like glow sticks and shit, right? And stuff, and I was always like fighting these dogs off from my bedroom window, or I'd have these dreams of like these fucking like alien reptilian creatures crawling off the rock behind the house, and like they'd slunk into the pool, and I'd walk out, and I would have this, it was like a reoccurring dream, it happened a lot, and I would slunk out, and like there would be like mist and fog, like, but it was kind of illuminated, you know, like something from a Stephen King movie, and like these fucking alien creatures like pop out of the fucking pool and like try to grab me and shit, and I had to fight them. But in a dream, when you want to punch, you could, it's literally like you're like you know, that's how it always is for some reason. I always had these weird fucking dreams. I was always getting like murdered or attacked in this house. And when I would get up to go to the kitchen, I would walk past this like doorway that went to the double front door at the front of the house. And it was always real dark up there, and like I always like hair stood up on my neck when I walked past, because I always felt like some big black thing was like a big black figure was standing there and like looking at me. And so I'd always kind of like hunch up and stuff. And then one night, I was like standing there in the kitchen at the bar, like eating some Cheetos, and like the other side of that front living room, like it went around like this, and the staircase to upstairs was right here, and there was like the dining room here, and then it went back into the kitchen here. And in that area where the computer sat, there was like this dude, like Slender Man style, like 7 foot, 8 foot tall, like black as night,
it's like a big shadow figure,
just standing there, bro. And it like got me senseless. That's how, like, it was prominent too, because like it was dark, but that was even darker and like really detailed. And so that happened, and then my brother used to like talk to like he was playing with a little kid upstairs, and like my little brother lived, and he's 10 years younger than me, so me being 13 at the time, he's like 3, 4. He used to talk to this little boy or whatever in his room, which was upstairs all the way at the back end of the house, over top of the garage, like by himself. And he would talk to like kids he was playing with. There was nobody ever fucking over, bro. Weird shit.
Nice.
I don't think anybody's ever heard that story besides like my dad.
I like it. It's exclusive.
Yeah, it's fucking weird. Like I said, it always searches me out. I never go looking for it. Look, hey man, cheers to you. Thanks for coming on. I hope more people come in your store, because it's a fucking joint. That's for sure.
Me too. We gotta pay people and keep the lights on and shit. So like, let's just get them rolling in.
I'm down. I need that whole Spider-Man series, and like, I want that whole Dark Series collection of the figures.
Yeah.
I do. But it's going to take me like 2 weeks at a time. To
Hey,
get
man,
us.
we'll be around.
Whatever.
It's fine.
Yeah, unless you get hit by like an asteroid or abducted by aliens.
I mean, let's hope not. I mean, well, I guess the aliens maybe. The asteroid.
It's not.
I'm fine with not getting hit with the asteroids. Fine, I just want to do that.
It's not the end of 2020 yet. We still got some time.
That is true. There's plenty of time for some fucked up stuff to go down.
Like, I think one more big thing is going to happen.
Well, I think
the
the fun
next
thing,
8
too, is where
days.
people think that, like, when it turns 2021, everything's going back to normal. It's like,
That's exactly.
no,
what's gonna happen.
it's just going to constantly keep going.
No,
this is
dude.
just the kickoff.
No, it's like New Year's. You're like, and it's going to be like, COVID's going to disappear.
Yeah.
Like, they'll give us like $4,000 on stem checks. Yeah.
They just brought out the
It's mutated in Britain already. Yeah.
They just got the cure.
Well, that's the thing. Like our one of our business partners, he's a doctor in Arizona, and he told us several months ago. We were on the phone with him, and he was like, yeah, he's like COVID. He goes, eventually, he goes, right now, he goes, it's very deadly right now. It's very serious. He goes, eventually, viruses, for them to work, it's for them to spread. He goes, they don't want to kill their host immediately. Like that's a detriment to them. He's like, so he goes, over the next few months, chances are, he goes, it'll mutate and become a quicker spreader, but become less deadly, to where it'll become like a super flu that like will go around every year.
I get it.
And now when they announced something for Britain, I was like, that son of a bitch.
Look, they need to stay on that fucking island, okay? They don't need to fuck. They done try to fuck with us before. They don't need to just come over here. Like,
Trust me, we will screw ourselves up as much as we can.
I know.
We don't need any.
We're the fucking best.
I saw a picture of Gatlinburg today. There might as well not be anything going on in Gatlinburg because no masks, crowds of people. So we take care of ourselves. It's fine.
I'm down. Me and my wife went like in the middle of summer. We took our I think she might have been pregnant or the baby had just been born, but we went down to Ripley's Aquarium. I wanted to show my son the fish.
Yeah.
And fuck it, we walked in. Like,
Well,
they was refusing our service without mask and shit then,
Yeah.
But here's the funny part: is like when you walk down that fucking main strip in Gatlinburg. it's
Oh,
like
yeah, those
shoulder to
people
shoulder, like,
don't
hey, what
give a
way,
shit.
fat ass? Like you
Yeah.
got some redneck Trump,
Yeah, man.
That's just how it is.
Nobody's gonna let anything get in the way of a good time. That's for sure.
Hey, if the meth don't kill us, something's got to, right?
I guess that's as good a catchphrase as any. That you should get that on a shirt.
We should totally get it on a shirt.
Get it on a shirt.
And then put approved by Lemonjuice McGee and sell it in your store.
Hey, I mean,
think we could probably sell like 1 million in a week easily.
I don't know if we could sell 1 million, but I
If the
think we could
meth
sell.
don't kill
We could
us?
sell 10. I think it's a pretty good number still, though.
I'm down.
That's not bad. It's not bad. We'll mark it down. I'm just gonna say I created it. I'm gonna steal it now, so it's gone. Sorry. I made it up.
Hey, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Yep.
Happy New Year. And remember, January 1st, everything's going to be over with.
Everything's gonna be back to normal.
Back to normal.
Completely fine.
Look it. We should make out right now.
That's right. What? What?
Kill it. That's a lot of fun.